Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about preventative measures that we can be taking in our everyday work setting to prevent certain things like disc herniations. So some things to consider. So first thing I want to talk about is this box. So consider this box about 10 pounds and we have to carry it. So if it's 10 pounds and it's about 10 inches away from our hands to our chest, now this 10 pounds translates into 100 pounds. So it's equivalent just because of how far we're carrying it away. Even though it is close to my chest, there is certain disadvantage being that it is so large. Now take that same 10 pounds and bring it out about 25 inches. Now that 10 pounds equals 250 pounds. So it's something really to take into consideration if you're doing a whole lot of lifting in your work setting. Another thing that I want to talk about is proper lifting technique. So I'm sure you all have heard, lift with your legs, not your back. That still holds true today. So some things to take into consideration. You really want to engage your core whenever you have to pick something up that's heavy. Keep your core tight, back straight, and bend the knees. And lift with most of your power should be coming from your legs. So again, feet shoulder width apart, bending down, keeping that back straight, and lifting up and close to your chest. Another thing that I want to talk about is some certain things that we do in our everyday setting and your everyday setting that you may not really think about. Take for an instance, if we have to work something very high up, we might be carrying something very heavy like a nail gun, hammer, screw gun, or whatever it is. So we want to make sure that if we're standing on some scaffolding, ladder, whatever it is, that we're really close to our workpiece. So instead of being really far up and having to reach, that's again putting your back at increased risk for disc herniation. It's really putting a lot of stress. And I talked about in the previous video how those vertebrae separate, and that's essentially what you're doing. Whenever you're bending over, those vertebrae are separating, increasing your risk for disc herniation. So again, make sure you're not like this. Bring your workpiece or your ladder or scaffolding closer to you or closer to the workpiece. Make sure you're working at a good, proper distance away from your workpiece. Another thing to take into consideration if you're working really low. Now, you don't want to be, if you're working on something like framing or something like that, you don't want to be bent over all day hammering or whatever it is. You want to make sure you invest in some good knee pads so you can get down there, get low, and you can work on your workpiece. Another thing you want to take into consideration, if you have to lift something very heavy, make sure you do find somebody to help you out to lift that piece. And remember, lift with your legs, not your back. The last thing I want you to do is take a look at the pictures below. Those are some really good exercises to kind of get you warmed up to prepare you for your work day.